Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Base Pats and Brewskis. Today is episode 15. I have Dom back with me today. Good thing because the last couple episodes were a little shit shows of me just kind of rambling about stuff. So let's jump into this Padres series. Title of this one is "Be Humble." I think we'll kind of talk about maybe where that comes into play. The beer of the pod today is some maple bacon moonshine by Sugarland Shine. Um, It I I watch a show called Moonshiners, and the one of the guys who is on the show, this old dude, he actually passed away now, but he he has his own moonshine with these people. So I saw this at the grocery store and just grabbed it, and I'll take my first sip. I have tried it, but so this isn't my trying of it, but
Maple bacon moonshine.
there's
What's
like
that taste
no
like? How's that
there's
taste?
there's very little maple. It's like almost all bacon flavor. It tastes like you're drinking bacon.
That's
With
honestly
like
disgusting.
Yeah, with like 35% alcohol. So I mean,
Oh
it's
well,
pretty.
that'll do the job.
Yeah, it's not bad actually. But anyway, we can talk about the maple bacon shenanigans later. Let's jump into the game one. Brewers lost 3-7. Or was it 3-6?
Uh,
No, that was game
three
two.
seven. It was
Three
three
seven.
seven.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
so 3-7. Kind of the first two games, in my opinion, somewhat uneventful. We'll talk about kind of the bright spot right away to get that going. Jackson Churio is continuing to hit the ball pretty well. His OPS is okay, 749. I mean, for a rookie, it's pretty damn good. Hitting leadoff, doing a lot of his damage against some pretty decent pitchers. So that was good to see. But really, this game was just kind of a tough watch, honestly.
hmm
Not a lot going good for the Brewers in this game. And honestly, the 7-3 score, kind of like we'll talk about in game two, in my opinion, that's not as conveying of how dominated we were in those two games. I don't think there was like much of a spark from us at all. I mean, if you want to chime in on your opinion on that, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, game one, it started off so well for us. We got on the board early. Was it in
Hmm.
the first, for bottom of the first, we got on the board.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and then obviously Jackson Churio hits that two-run homer in the bottom of the second. So at this point, it's 3-1.
Yeah. It's feeling
Um,
pretty good.
3-1, yeah. And then Joe Ross was pitching a great game up until
Yeah.
that fifth inning when he gave up the six, which watching that inning was brutal because it was just bloop single after bloop single, and it was just like, give him a break.
Yeah. I mean, I think I heard today on the broadcast for game three that over the course of the first two games, the Padres had, I believe they said 22 hits, 12
Mhm.
coming in this game. And of those 22 hits, 20 of them were singles. So, I mean,
Yeah,
there was like I mean, obviously you can hit a single with some power behind it, but there was really like no hitting for power being done. And
no,
with Joe Ross giving up two walks, I mean, that's kind of an automatic base. So I count that a little bit differently, but I mean, that's basically the
yeah,
same thing as a single as well. So, I mean, they were just
yeah,
getting base runners on first base over and over. And it kind of just, excuse me, chipped away at us. And I don't know.
yeah, and
I think it showed kind of the youth of the team, in my opinion.
yeah, and the pitches that Joe Ross was getting these guys into two-strike counts, and a couple of them were literally letter high fastballs that are being hit over Willie Adames' head for blooping. And it's just like let's make an adjustment here from one of the young, bring the
Yeah.
outfielders in or something. I don't know. It was a tough watch, and then the offense after that point, just I don't know if they were deflated after that inning, but it was a tough watch from there on out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this team has much experience with playing down. I mean, we went into Baltimore and I don't want to say steamrolled them, but we put up a lot of runs against them. I think 22 in the first two games alone.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I mean, our offense was on fire. So when you have a low, a lesser pitching performance from your guys, which I don't want to, discredit Jared Koenig, who I'll kind of talk a little more about later. But I mean, you can tell there hasn't been adversity yet with these guys,
Mhm.
and I think that kind of bleeds into game two a little bit. If you had anything else you want to mention before we move on, go feel free to do that
I
now.
think just overall for the series, it definitely sucks having Yelich out. You can
Hmm.
definitely tell they're missing him in the offensive lineup. That
Yeah.
proven veteran hitter that's going to be remain calm at all times, even when we're down. He's not going to change his approach. They really missed somebody like that. But especially the later half of this game, it was just we'd maybe get somebody on and then a double play because they swung at the first or second pitch. They just kind of stopped working counts, trying to get us back into it too early. It was tough watch.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that comes with the nature of a younger team. And obviously, like last episode, I kind of highlighted a little bit of Jake Bowers with he had a home run against Baltimore.
Hmm.
And I think he went like 1 for 5 that day, but I talked about the importance of having that lefty power outside of Christian Yelich. And
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty clear when it doesn't show up when Yelich isn't in the lineup, which is a little concerning
yeah,
because I think this is kind of a lot of what we expected the offense to look like. How this series went, but um,
yeah,
like we said, game two, 6-3, another one that, in my opinion, this one really the score. I mean, we weren't in it from the start. At least in game one, we had a pretty competitive, first 3 innings or so,
yeah,
maybe first four. But this one was just there was nothing, in my opinion. And I gave Sal Frelick the craft brew player of the game solely based on just how many times he got on base, and there really wasn't many people, doing a whole lot of getting on base effectively. Um, as a collective, it wasn't terrible, but Sal Frelick definitely helped to boost up our numbers there. I mean, only 6 hits is pretty tough.
yeah. Yeah, that first inning, I think it was another one of those cases where right away, the two iffy singles and then a sac bunt and then that 3-run homer by Hassan Kim that got out of there fast. That was right down the line. I mean, it pretty much sucked the wind out of the team
Oh yeah.
instantly. Like
Yep.
I think this was all within 10 pitches, 10 or 15 pitches. I mean,
Yeah, I think the home run was hit on like pitch 9 or something like it was pretty insane how quick it was going.
yeah. And then after that, Wade Miley takes the ball off his knee and he's hobbling around on the mound. And it was pretty much downhill from there. To be honest, I cut this game off in the eighth inning.
Yeah, not a terrible move, honestly. I think I kind of started playing the show and just watched, kind of listened to it near the end there. I think a lot of credit needs to go to Dylan Cease. He pitched a pretty solid game. We just really couldn't seem to get anything solid going against him. We'd get
Mhm.
occasional spurts of having base runners, and I think we went like 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So there just really wasn't even many opportunities, and we certainly weren't taking advantage of anything that was there for us.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, Wade Miley, what a fucking trooper. He took that. It was like a 104-mile-an-hour line drive off the knee, or maybe it was a ground ball, but still, 100 miles an
yeah,
hour and above is not going to feel good. And he got back up. He had a nice play on the sack bunt, but didn't like Jake Bowers like step off the bag or something weird or he like missed the ball or something? Like something
yeah.
weird happened.
Really kind of runs after it, and he flips it with his glove because he
Mhm.
wasn't getting there that fast. And I believe it was Jerickson Profar,
Yeah.
the who bunted it, and he's pretty quick. And
Hmm.
Wade Miley, in his seasoned age, was not moving too fast, so he just kind of flipped it with his glove. And Jake Bowers just never really had it in the pocket. I think it hit off the thumb.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't know. That was kind of a concerning thing. I did want to highlight Jared Koenig, kind of like I said before. I think in game one he pitched more than an inning. I don't know if he went a full 2 innings, but in this one he went an inning and 2/3. I mean, he had almost 4 innings of no-run ball, and as a reliever, that's pretty much all you can ask for. And it kind of sucks because what happened to him right after is he got sent back down to AAA. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's such a unique part of baseball is that you can have a guy who, I mean, he's the only guy really with a clean slate that pitched that
Yeah,
game besides Yoel Payamps, and
yeah,
he got demoted. I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of crazy to me, but I don't know. I think that's just such a like. I wanted to highlight that because that's so interesting how baseball works. Like, think about in football, if a guy came in, maybe receiver or DB or something, DB comes in, replacement level guy, and just shuts down like Devonte Adams, right? And then he gets put back on the practice squad the next week. I mean, it's kind of that same thing,
yeah.
but
Essentially,
but obviously
it
that doesn't happen in football. That's why I think baseball is so unique and interesting. And I just thought that was pretty crazy hearing that. But that's just how it works. You need arms, and I mean, when you have guys, your starter going 3 innings, and then today that he went 3 and 2/3. I mean, the bullpen is just they're getting worked out there. I mean, it is not an easy life as a Brewers reliever for sure.
is not, especially when it feels like we don't have a start. We don't have starters outside of Freddie Peralta and Colin Rea who
Hmm.
can go 5+ innings consistently. I mean,
Yeah.
and with credit to Wade Miley, I mean he's just coming off of an injury. Only pitched a couple innings last week against the Reds, and the ball to the knee obviously doesn't help.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty crazy he played at all after that. Um, Also, I think it was kind of cool that Abner Uribe came and pitched so early in the game.
Hmm.
I saw on Twitter there was a guy who I kind of clapped back at him a little bit, honestly, because he was basically like ripping on bringing Abner in. I don't know if it must have been the Sunday game against Baltimore when they brought him in kind of early.
Mm.
And he gave up the runs to give up the lead, I believe. And the dude was just shitting on the decision. Like, why is Abner in the game? And like, dude, he's like basically a rookie pitcher still. I mean, he was on the team like what half the year last year. He's not
Yeah,
a full time closer. Like he needs innings. He's
close
thrown
the
like
door. What are you doing?
but I mean Abner's thrown like less than 120 innings in the United States. Like
Mm.
I mean, no matter what level. So the dude just needs time to pitch. And going out and throwing almost 2 innings and not giving up a run. He had a couple blemishes, but struck a couple guys out too. I mean, I think that's what he needs to develop. I don't think he should be a one and done in the ninth inning every night kind of guy or every other night, whatever it may be, because I just don't think that'll help him that much.
Yeah, yeah. It may just be part of it is just he's not ready for it. I think. I mean, he's been asked to kind of fill in for Devin Williams in that closer role when Devin went down, and it's just like you said, he's been on the team for half a season, and then being asked to replace the reliever of the year as the closer. So yeah, I think it is a good thing that they're putting him in earlier, letting him get some innings on his arm, and
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess we can move on to game three here. Uh, the bright spot, so to say, maybe as bright as the eclipse, I guess. But uh, the Brewers win 1-0 today. Luckily, I got to watch it on replay and not listen to the British Basketball League fucking advertisement on Bally
I
Sports.
cannot stand that advertisement. The number of
Oh,
Bucks
oh,
games I've
dude.
watched, it's like I hear it in my dreams.
Yeah. My girlfriend and I will just sit and say it back and forth to each other all the time because she even knows because she watches. You have to watch like half a game and you have that ad memorized. But
Every
anyway,
inning, every
every
half inning.
time, dude. But so if you want to, just if it's a day game, wait to watch it in the afternoon. And you can watch the game in like an hour and a half without that ad going through. So a little word from the wise, excuse me. I am the wise here. Uh Shout out the pitching staff in this one. If
Yeah,
you would have told me that a game started by Bryce Wilson and finished up by four other relievers would have ended in a shutout, I would have said you're high. I
yeah.
mean, and
If
and and when the other pitcher is throwing a no hitter into like the sixth inning or fifth inning, whatever it was.
yeah, yeah, the offense was dead early on. Yeah, if you would have showed me that box score of the pitchers, I would have thought we gave up 15 runs.
Yeah, I mean Bryce Wilson. I mean, he did what he needed to. I think they were kind of going in expecting like 4 innings max out of him, and he
Mhm.
pretty much got all the way there.
Yeah.
And Brian Hudson came in, and he's been shut down this year as a lefty. So that's great to see that we have that. Peguero was good. I know. I think he must piss off William Contreras, Peguero, because he Contreras like rifled the ball back at him today. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. If he just missed his spot or I think he threw the wrong pitch, and Contreras was pissed, and so that was kind of funny to see. But anyway, Uribe gets the win. Um, Yoel Payamps again. I think those two, maybe flipping the roles once in a while so that Uribe is not always that ninth inning guy is important. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean the pitching staff from. Did you see Abner's play on that like kind of chopper or whatever it was from
Yeah, down the third
Tatis?
baseline. Yeah, that was
Dude,
a great play. Love the energy out of him too.
yeah, yeah. I mean he gets excited, and I think that's what this
I mean,
team is kind of different in that way.
yeah, and that whole inning was great. I mean, he gave up the triple right off the bat, and then three
Oh
straight
yeah,
outs, and it was you can give up a triple right away. You're pretty much almost guaranteed to give up a run, except in this instance, he didn't.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you give up a triple, that's. I mean, even if you have a flyout, that's typically a run scored then. So to be able to
Yeah,
hold shut the door a bit in the eighth inning. Great job by him. Pyamps obviously kind of came in and he made it look pretty easy. I mean, nothing really shaky there at the end at all. The offense, though, yeah, I mean, it looked like a bunch of Gary Sanchez is running out there in the box. I mean, nothing going on really. Joey Weimer kind of subbed into the game, didn't get an at bat, which kind of I always like seeing Joey hit just because of his stance. Um,
yeah.
but I mean, not Bryce Terang once again, kind of playing hero ball a little bit. I don't know. What do you think about
Oh my God, sorry. Yeah,
that?
he's taken a quantum leap, in the words of Pat Murphy. Um, he's a
Where'd you
stud.
get that?
He's a stud. I endorse
Yeah,
him for MVP. I think he's. When I see him up at the plate, I am so excited.
yeah, dude, and once he gets on the bases, you know it's at least like one stolen base, or just
Yeah,
something cool is gonna happen. Like, I mean, you can tell he's just got some trick up his sleeve, or he's gonna do something that's just sick. Like he's so fast. Not to glaze him or anything here, but like, the dude's just kind of a baller. Like he's just exciting
and
to watch. And
and
how
he's a
about
Gold
Blake
Glove
Perk? Yeah,
finalist. He's a stud.
he is. Like this dude, he rocks, man. And then Blake Perkins, who he
Also
came up and
rocks.
yeah, I mean, I didn't have him on the. I kind of said he was our, probably the best option we had as a replacement type outfielder, even over Joey Weimer before the season. And I mean, that's certainly what he's been. Like he has had twice now this season where he like pretends to bunt or misses his bunt and then just hits a tank the next swing. Like what I don't know what strategy that is, but it's like
Working.
softball. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I mean that works. And then he knocks in the only run of the day, so that's pretty cool considering like I don't know. I don't think many people expected him to be making this kind of impact, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on the game? Do you have a different, player of the game? Any pitcher specifically stick out to you, or did you want to kind of talk more about the hitting?
Yeah, this one was also a tough watch. I pretty much agree with you in that the pitching staff played great. The offense was just early on. It was a snooze. I mean,
Yeah.
it just felt like they couldn't get anything going.
Hmm.
And credit to who was it on the mound for the Padres, King,
Yeah, dude,
Michael
he had like
King.
all career highs today.
Yeah,
Today, like this
yeah,
was his
what?
best game ever.
Yeah, a no hitter into the sixth inning. So I mean, credit to him, but it was one of those games that you're just like, I'm glad we got the win. Let's just not do that again.
Yeah, and I think like after the last couple days of having to use so many bullpen arms. They're really gonna take advantage of this travel day tomorrow.
Mhm.
Um, going to St. Louis to play Friday night weekend series. I think tomorrow will help. Maybe the guys can, figure it out with the bats a little more. We seem to be hitting better on the road almost. So,
Mhm.
I mean, if that's not an issue to me, if we put up an 11 spot, 12 spot every time we're on the road, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, but certainly this one run stuff is not going to cut it. And especially if we're going to run out of pitching this early. I mean, we've had, what was this game? 17, and
Yeah.
this was our eighth starting pitcher or eighth unique player to start a game for us. Which, I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of wild considering, some teams are probably at, four, or well, five, maybe four. And we've rotated through guys so quick. So I don't know. I'm curious to see if anything will be done about that. Um, if we figure it out a little bit, but I'm just kind of hoping at this point that Wade Miley's not hurt beyond playing, or getting his start as scheduled.
Mhm.
um so yeah, that's kind of where I stand a little bit. What do you think about this Cardinal series going forward after watching this? I mean, this was kind of a come to earth moment for the team a little bit, um after we kind of were riding so high against Baltimore. So how are you feeling going into St. Louis?
I'm pretty confident, even though the offensive output hasn't been great since that third game of the Baltimore series.
Yeah,
I still think it's a divisional game. They always just seem to end up being better baseball games per se. Um, so I'm pretty confident. I think the Cardinals have struggled a bit early on as well, and I think they're going to go into St. Louis and take advantage of that.
yeah,
And hopefully Yelich is coming back soon. I mean, what they put him on the 10-day
yeah.
retroactive
10
to
day.
Friday,
Yep.
so
So I
he
think it's like 7 more days or something, or 6 more today, something like that.
okay, so he should be back. What end of the Pittsburgh series?
Yeah, he'll probably miss like for sure St. Louis, and then most of the next series. If that's Pittsburgh, then yeah. Um, yeah, I guess we can move on to the series awards and just kind of wrap up the series in general. So my MVP was Abner Uribe. Obviously, not tons of highlights from this series, but I think I kind of challenged him in my last episode to, step up to his potential, and also understand that there's not a ton of pressure on him right now. Like, I think
Mhm.
it gets, you know, people see the 100+ mile an hour sinker and think that he's going to be striking everyone out, but I mean, he's still so young. He's pitched so few innings. He still is learning how to strike people out. Just because you have
Mhm.
stuff doesn't mean, just because you throw hard doesn't mean people aren't going to hit it. I mean, clearly he's gotten hit around a little this year. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was my MVP just because I think he had a solid series. I don't think he gave up a run, and that's kind of what I wanted to see from him. The barrel blaster went with William Contreras just because he's kind of been the most consistent hitter. And in a series where there wasn't a lot of offense going on in general, I just felt that Williams probably the guy that should take it. The crafty pitcher, I went with Bryce Wilson. I just kind of wanted to give him credit on his start. Probably not expecting to do that this early this season. I know he was stretched out during spring training to become a starting pitcher, and I mean, he
Mhm.
seems to be doing a decent job, and obviously was a big chunk of this shutout that we threw today, so that was pretty good. And then
Mhm.
obviously the kind of unique series award, I just went with the selfless beast. I mean, Jared Koenig came in, he knew he was going to get um sent back down basically after that second game, after he threw 4 innings basically in 2 days. And I mean, he still went out there and just shoved, 0 runs. And to me, that was just such a selfless move. And I hope he's back up on the team at some point this year and can maybe get more of a sustained stay with the team. Because I'd like to see more from him, and it could have been a fluke 4 innings, or I don't want to discredit him, but it could have just been his best stuff for 4 innings. But I'd like to see more until he proves me wrong. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Anything you'd maybe change up, or anything you want to comment on?
No, not really. I think in a series that wasn't full of a whole lot of bright spots, you hit these he hit the nail on the head with these ones. I mean, I think these are all great picks. Yeah, just looking forward to the next one, mostly.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think that, moving forward, we can learn a lot from this series. Obviously, pitching is very important. Starting pitching is very important. Hitting the ball, just putting it in play. I think that this series was like a little league coach's dream. Talking about putting the ball in play and getting hits off of, just getting singles. Good things happen when the ball's in play. You can't really run to first base when the ball's in the catcher mitt. You know,
Yeah,
um, and I mean, decent plays on defense from both teams. Um, good. I think it was just a very fundamental series all around with some kind of unlucky things happening, and that's kind of why it just reminded me of like Little League baseball. It just seemed like just weird shit was going on. Wade Miley's getting hit in the knee and he's crying,
yeah.
and then he's got to get his ice cream after the game. No, I'm just kidding. But I just thought it was kind of a weird series in general, and I'm hoping that doesn't carry over to St. Louis and we can get back to kind of what we saw in Baltimore. But we'll go on to the B&B trivia today. So in game one of the series, which Brewers pitcher became the 1,000th Brewer to make an appearance? We had Blake Perkins, Joey Weimer, Bill Hall, or Jared Koenig.
Pretty
Everybody
confident in
can.
my answer.
Joey Weimer. Yeah. And the answer to last episode's trivia, I don't know if you saw it. There are 4 players on the top 100 prospect list from the beginning of the season whose first names are Jackson, right? So we have Jackson Holiday, number 1, Jackson Chorio, number 2. There was Jackson Jobe on that list, which I think he's with Detroit.
Yeah, I
And then
think
Jackson Merrill with San Diego, who we just played. But the cool thing is every answer on that in that last episode, if you go back and look at it, has they're real people. There's all these Jacksons who are actually top 30 prospects in their respective organization. So it was like super easy finding names to like make up because there were actual people just named Jackson. So if you
yeah,
want a good baseball player, just name your kid Jackson. That's the trick.
yeah. Good luck,
Um,
and it seems like
yeah,
we're going on a tour of the Jacksons. Jackson Cherrill's gotten a picture with both Jackson Holiday and Jackson Merrill. So
yeah. I think that's really cool for them that they got to meet Jackson Churio.
yeah,
um,
it's my
anyway,
preferred Jackson.
yeah. Show me your Jackson. All right. Up next, obviously, like we said, St. Louis. Do you have the projected starting pitchers pulled up at all, or could you pull it up
I can
for
pull
this
that up.
series? Perfect.
Take a look here. Yeah, it looks like Freddie Peralta is slated to pitch Friday against Cal Gibson,
Okay.
who's struggled so far this year. He's got a 6.1 ERA.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy baseball team.
It's
Perfect.
brutal.
Yeah.
Uh, and DL Hall goes Saturday against Miles Mikolas,
Yep.
both who have struggled so far early on.
Right. I think
And
for DL at least, his ERA has kind of been inflated by kind of shitty stuff. He's like
yeah,
pitched good, but then he just has little stuff happen. But anyway,
yeah.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
And then Sunday we got Colin Rea against Sonny Gray, who has still not given up a run this year or an earned run this year.
Ooh. All
So
right.
he's shoving early on, but so is
Yeah.
Colin.
Yeah. I think that'll be a matchup of like consistency. Like I think Sonny and Colin Ray both have that same style at their points or at this point in their careers, where they're very focused on just going out doing very repetitive things. With Colin Ray especially, I obviously don't watch Sonny Gray too often, but I know with Colin Ray, he goes out and you basically know what you're going to get from him: 5 to 6 solid innings, 1 to 3 runs, if that, and
Three
if
strikeouts.
Yeah, and maybe
Three
a
strikeouts.
strikeout in there. Maybe dabble a little with a little
And
strikeout or two. But
Sonny Gray
yeah,
has been the same player pretty much this year. He's got 11 strikeouts, same as Colin Rea in 11 innings. So I mean, two guys that more so are pitch to contact. They're just going to get a lot of ground ball and fly ball outs. So I
yeah,
mean, should be a good matchup.
yeah. I mean, name of the game is not giving up runs as a pitcher, and both of them are doing it at a high, very elite level. So should be exciting. I'm excited for this one, especially because it's the Cardinals, kind of a division rival. So really fun. We'll talk about the B&B beer requests. If you have any beers you've been dying to try, if you have a go-to beer that I need to try, comment or reach out on any of the socials listed below with what I should drink next. Anything you want to say in conclusion here, Dom, before we have an off day tomorrow and then we'll head down to St. Louis?
No, not that I can think of.
Well, that's perfect. We'll see you guys Monday morning after this episode to wrap up the St. Louis series. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a good weekend. Have fun watching the games. And that is the end of the episode. My drink's been gone for a long time. This podcast is done. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Peace.